urban school. So that's that. I forgot to bring my starter project, but it's basically a phone charger that runs on 2 AA batteries. And the project for me was mostly soldering, but it taught me a lot about resistors and diodes. And basically, it's just the 2 batteries go in a battery case hooked up to a positive negative lead that go through a series of resistors, capacitors, and diodes. And they go into a USB bus, which you plug in to your little phone charger, and you plug in your phone and it charges. So that's that. That'll have to replace the physical presence of my starter project. My main project is the omnidirectional robot, so like Aaron. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of it's a little bit of like electrical engineering, a little bit of coding, and then just like a little bit of just screwing metal pieces together. Most of the work, probably 3 to 4 weeks of my time here has been spent on coding the Arduino to tell the motors to do certain things when I use the controller. Like Aaron said, the circuit is super important, and if you screw it up, it sucks. But most of it is just coding, and it was like, yeah, I don't know, it's surprisingly annoying to try and figure out how to make all these guys move so that it moves in any direction. But finally I figured out it's just trigonometry. So I guess I will try it out. I don't really know where to test it here, but
I suggest the floor.
that's an apt idea. Okay. So yeah, mine's working now, so I can rotate it I had to rotate with the right analog stick. So you can, there, and then there, and you move it forward, and then you move it backwards, left and right. And so yeah, that's like what's going on now, I guess. That's what it does now. And that's kinda cool. A lot of the low lights actually were just stuff like I would come in and it would not work, and then I'd be really bummed out and pissed off, and then the next day I'd come in bummed out and pissed off, and it would totally work. So not all the low lights I fully figured out, although I suspect it has to do with the receiver. But the highlights were definitely just probably the best highlight was I got all the parts together on the robot. I just had to finish up the coding, and so I just like spent like an hour over in the gym just like listening to Led Zeppelin and trying to move this thing around. So that was pretty fun, and then it finally worked, and that was awesome. And those next steps. Next steps, I'm not sure if I can finish it in the last week, but I was planning on getting another motor that I would fix on top, and on top of that I would put ultrasound range sensor. So so this dude is basically just the motor detects what's in front of it. So it's what this guy has. So and then it would rotate the motor rotate around so that it's like a little radar. And then my idea was, and this would take forever, but like my idea was to get a Bluetooth modem and hook it up so it communicates with like a phone or a computer, and then you'd have like a little radar, like the submarine, like the green guy going around, and it would detect stuff. But anyways, that's the goal. That's the plan. Yeah, that's my project. Any questions?
So you're holding a PlayStation controller and you're controlling that robot you made. How'd you do that?
All right, so. Oh boy. So, actually, the first, whoops, gotta turn that off. Alright, so actually a lot of it is just, looking it up and, being resourceful and trying to find, just trying to find the right places with the right information. So one place was Bill Porter's, this guy named Bill Porter, excellent website. He really wanted to learn about the PS2 controller, and so he suddenly came up with all this stuff that explains to you what is actually going on in this controller, what the different pins on the PS2 receiver, and like what they're actually sending over to the PS2, or in this case the Arduino. And so you have to read a little bit about that, and you learn about what the different pins do, and then you hook them up. You hook it up to the Arduino, and you figure out, all right, so like the left analog stick when it's here, what is that? What is this telling the Arduino? And I had to do a little bit of that, and then from there it's just, okay, it's right here, cosine, angle, and magnitude. And then you just, it's a lot of functions and stuff, but it's, when you really look at the code, it's just a lot of geometry, so, yeah.
So that I recognize, but this,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
receiver?
Yeah, so,
And did you buy that, or did you like extract it from a?
oh yeah, it comes,
certain set of PS3s?
yeah, so when you buy any PS2 wireless PS2 controller, it comes with a receiver. And yeah, it's a little self-explanatory, it just kind of receives all the information, it's what like is physically connected to the Arduino. But yeah, that's the gist of that's the receiver. Any other questions? Go for it.
Well, in some of the other projects that Thunderbird has some power control problems, I guess. Do you have any insight as to why yours doesn't?
Oh, I had tons of power control. Sorry, I just didn't touch on it. The first one was I blew out a resistor because I was short-circuiting. I didn't have any resistors in there, and so I had no idea what was going on. And finally, I realized, oh, this thing cannot just have electricity pass through anymore. It's that beat up. So there was a lot of like fiddling around with the power and the amps I could use without screwing everything up, and a lot of actually it was kind of a compromise. Basically, the power that these motors drain to run at the speed they do is not good for that battery. But I'd be down to buy another battery if I can just have it move the way it does. So that was a compromise, but So those are the kind of things I went through in trying to make sure the battery could supply enough power for this thing to function.